I have a channel. That's how you do it on a YouTube channel, and I'm a Christian too and stuff. So I was just willing to talk to and get it on the video, see what you believed, and I could kind of obviously hear some of the stuff, but it's the first time I saw you out here, and we were walking back. I live right there on the corner with him. He's a roommate, and I just wanted to see, to ask you some questions,
Sure.
make a video of it, So everything you were saying, I agree with. I believe all that stuff, and I can imagine why you're probably over here in this area saying those things. I don't know if you live around here, but you said you had a church, right? Or you run a ministry or something?
Yes.
How long have you been doing that?
Over 20 years.
Oh wow, okay. And do you identify as like Baptist or?
I identify as Christian.
Okay.
Because you know what? Man puts names on things, right?
Yeah.
But I identify as Christian. The definition of Christian is Christ-like.
Yeah.
So I believe that, in other words, when we're Christ-like, we're to pattern our life after Jesus.
Yeah, if people were to ask me, I'm kind of like that. I just try to tell them I'm biblical Christian.
Okay.
I try to believe what the Bible intends to teach and say. Yeah. So, obviously, you're saved by grace, not by anything of your own doing, right? Certain things like that. Christ is God. He's not like sub part of the Father or something like that. Him, the Father, Trinitarian.
Holy Ghost. Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. So, we're looking like we're agreeing on things. I don't know if you would be familiar with sola scriptura. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So basically, Scripture alone, meaning there's no other standard by which you go by as a Christian. You know what I mean? Like everything you believe is solely based on Scripture.
On the Word of God.
Yeah,
yes.
The Bible. Okay, so we're there on that. So, what brings you here today, right now?
What brings us here today? The thing is, the Word of God says, "Go ye therefore and make disciples of all nations." Right? Baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Right? Okay.
Matthew
So in other
28.
words, so I come today because this is basically what the Lord has called me to do. It's just not staying in the four walls, but amen, it's going to go forward and to share with people from all walks of life how the Lord has changed my life, and there's hope, regardless of what the condition they may be in right now. Like I was talking about the woman with the issue of blood.
Yeah.
She was dealing with issues, all right?
Yeah.
Everybody's dealing with issues, something in their life. Now, what the thing is to share the good news that, in other words, hey, Christ is the answer to your issues.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, yeah, for me, like I said, I have a channel, and I try to, interact with people more, in a public sense, like a public square. Obviously, there can be hostility. I can imagine. I'm surprised nobody's out here saying something to you. Yet,
well, the thing is that, in other words, I've come out here before.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and there's different areas. We go in the city of Fresno, and we have services out there on the street also. We have services on Van Ness and Belmont. We go over, amen, to different areas. I'm affiliated with other brothers in Christ.
Yeah.
Other brothers and sisters.
Yeah, well, I've only been here since November.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Have you seen him out here? He's been here since July. I moved in with him.
No, I haven't been here since probably was around about October was the last time we saw.
Okay. All right. Well, that's nice to know. It was nice seeing someone come out and actually just be open with it. I'm trying to see what I could ask you. We seem to be agreeing on everything. You know what I mean? Usually, I find myself making conversation out of where we differ. Not necessarily you, but whoever I'm speaking to. You know what I mean? This is what you believe. Let me show you why I believe this. You know what I mean? But the way you were speaking and stuff, I assumed, I was like, it seems like we're going to agree on everything, you know what I mean? We're going to be on the same page. So, and to answer kind of the question I asked you, the reason I do what I do is the same exact thing. Matthew 28.
Yes.
The Great Commission.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that's what. And just personally, the state of the way I see things going. I'm not that old. I'm only 22, but just the way, just when it comes to government and what they're trying to do, or when it comes to just something as close as people I know and how they live their lives and what they believe. And so that's why I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Trying to be a light, to the darkness and stuff like that. Trying to let people hear and hopefully actually hear. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so, um, I don't know. Is there anything? Not to like interrupt you with what you were doing or anything, but is there anything you'd like to ask me, or I'm trying
What
to
do
make
you
a
think
conversation.
concerning, where do you feel that we're at right now concerning the end times?
So that's something that,
End of the age, I should say.
yeah,
End of
yeah,
the
that's
age.
something where I know that a lot of people differ on. You know what I mean? I know there's like there's post millennial. You've heard of that, right? Post millennial, premillennial, all millennial. Personally, what I believe, I don't believe in a rapture. I don't know if you do. I'm not sure. I haven't been shown the proof personally that the Gospels display a rapture. I think that what Christ was talking about was things that those people were going to be going through. You know what I mean? Like when he's speaking to, like for example, when he's carrying the cross, right? It says few things when he's carrying the cross, from when they, put him on trial to when he's actually crucified. When he's walking, and the women are all crying, and he tells the women, don't cry for me, but cry for your children, because the blood's on their hand, basically. In that sense, that like judgments for you guys, judgments for this generation. Not that there isn't a great day of judgment, you know what I mean? That like where all men are judged, but I think what was happening there is he's ushering in, continually saying the kingdom of God is at hand. Repent, for the kingdom of God is at hand, and he's telling the people of the old covenant, the Jews, look, there's judgment for the covenant you had with God, for the things you have fallen short for with the covenant that you had with Him. But obviously, there's a new kingdom being ushered in, and there's salvation that's at hand, and that these people that don't accept that are going to be judged. And I would argue that that was with the siege of Jerusalem. They basically just wiped out the temple. Basically, the Jews got kind of just dispersed, you know what I mean, everywhere. They didn't have their own land that they could call their own anymore. Rome was persecuting them. With the disciples, they were killed. The apostles, they were killed. Paul was decapitated. Peter hung on a cross, supposedly upside down. I think James was stoned. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But and so I think that when he talks about a great tribulation and things like that, he's talking about that time, and that it's kind of like from the fall, it's just downhill, 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 until we reach the point of Christ, and Christ is like bringing it back, uphill, and I wouldn't say that necessarily we're going to come to a point where things just become perfect and then Christ comes back, but I think that like how it says, I think it's Isaiah 53 where it says he'll make many righteous through what he did, you know what I mean? And so that it's just something that's kind of started small, small mustard seed, and it's growing into something bigger. It's taking time. That's what I believe. I'm not sure if that was clear enough or necessarily what you believe, but I would like to hear what you have to say about it.
My take on that concerning catching away of the body of Christ. The world's not going to continue on as it has. Okay. There will be a catching away of the body of Christ. As you would study in the scripture, it talks about that in Second Thessalonians about the catching away. It talks about the Antichrist.
You mean like a rapture, basically?
Talking about the Antichrist is coming. Okay. What the world system is going to be a one world ruler over the whole system. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you, look in the scripture, it'll tell you all these things. That, in other words, what is coming and what is going to take place. And is that you go by the scripture. Everybody may have their own way and their own belief, but at the same time, as we study the scripture, nothing is spelled from the scripture. Everything is being fulfilled. Everything is taking place. And so the Lord is letting us know. He says, you know what? And even the disciples, Paul Paul said, I will not have you ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel and the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. And we that be alive shall remain, that shall be caught up, and to meet the Lord in the air. And so shall we ever be with the Lord. Wherefore comfort ye one another with these words.
Yeah.
Edify one another. So it's that, people, as you said, you have a way that you believe, and I have a way where, in other words, I believe. I basically go by scripture of what I'm reading. What hope is it, in other words, that we just die and just everybody just perish? There's nothing there. When God is saying, behold, he said, in other words, that's the reason why he said, in heaven, there's heaven, all right? And there's separation from God. Man chooses where he wants to spend. Man's soul is going to live forever, okay? People always talk about, the Christian is going to have eternal life. So is those that are not lost.
Yeah.
Everybody is going to have eternal life. But there's going to be a separation concerning
where you'll be in eternity.
Where there's going to be those that follow the Lord and those that follow after Satan.
Their own lifestyles, basically.
Yeah, it's a different lifestyle. And so you think about this, and it's like, if you, I would love to spend some time with you and talk to you about this. But as we differ on things like that, we came to a certain part where we were okay.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to saying where you saying I don't believe that there's going to be a catching away.
Yeah. Right.
Well, it's in the Word, and it's like to be at a place where you say, well, you know what? I'm going to just continue here. I'm going to stay right here. And it's like,
okay, so then I do have a good question. When Christ's kind of like buffeting them for, hey, there's going to be hard times, there's going to be a great tribulation, and all these things. Why do you think? I'm going to ask you. Okay,
go ahead.
Why do you think he gives them all that warning if they're going to just be, taken up out of it before it happens?
Wouldn't you, being that your creation and people that you love so much, wouldn't you want to warn them of what was going to take place?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I got this for.
To let them know what's going to take place, rather than to let them be ignorant and not know.
Yeah, well, I just mean, he's telling it to them like, like how it says, even the elect might be fooled,
Okay. He says, if possible, almost. Now, concerning the elect, let's bring it together. There is a time of Jewish history, and there's also a time of Gentile history.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now, this is the opportunity for Gentiles to truly give their hearts to God.
Yeah.
And the Jewish people.
You're speaking of like the old covenant, right?
And the Jewish people right now, as of right now, many of them have not received Christ as the who? As the Messiah. Yeah. And they're still waiting on the Messiah. The Messiah has come, the Messiah has gone.
And that's another great question towards eschatology that I'd ask is, Christ prophesies the destroying of the temple. You know what I mean? He says not a stone will be left upon another.
And it was destroyed.
And it was. And the things that he talks about, the tribulation, does come. Paul didn't live an easy life,
No,
he talks about being beaten to the degree that he loses count. You know what I mean? And
39 times was he beat.
Well, I mean, at that point, I'd be like, okay, 38, 39, something.
Question. Okay. Paul was beaten. Paul was stoned. Paul was whipped. Okay.
And then ultimately decapitated.
And then all of a sudden, zip. What makes a man or a woman want to would have that kind of mind? That, in other words, man, regardless, I'm going to serve the Lord. Because in other words, you know what? God said, Jesus, the Lord said, Paul said,